All right, so while you're doing that, good evening, everyone. I'm Christina Williams. I am your captain for the Changemakers Club, which is really the Universities of the West Indies Commuting Students Office Service Learning and Civic Engagement Program. What we do here, for anyone who's just joining us for the first time, is that we do two things. We provide workshops like this that we're about to have that facilitate you learning about different aspects of change making in your communities and even to a wider extent your country. And then we also provide placement for students at different voluntary institutions, or rather service-based institutions, where you are able to put what you have learned in these workshops to the test. If you are a member of the Changemaker Club, in the sense that you are fully enrolled and you're supposed to be placed, I'm going to ask you to stay back after the session has ended. Reason being, we are trying to do a placement right now as we speak this month for a number of persons for their hours. I've reached out to some of you, but for some reason I haven't seen a response. So if you're a person who would have indicated that you wish to be placed this semester and you wish to complete your hours this semester, please stay back so I can have you on board, add it to the WhatsApp group, and I can get you placed. Okay, so this evening we'll be talking about how can we change the world with our phone. And I know all of you here has a phone. I am very sure that the phone aren't bangers either. Most of these phones are smartphones. I don't know if we have a Samsung versus iPhone kind of thing. I'm a Samsung girl. I don't know if who here is iPhone or Samsung or whatever the case may be. But regardless of the phone that you have, it has the capacity to change the world in some way. And I know it sounds very fanciful, but believe me, by the time you're finished listening to Miss Rihanna Robinson, who is our presenter for this evening, you will very much agree with me. Now, Rihanna Robinson is a friend of mine, but outside of a friend, Rihanna is one of the most ardent and dedicated youth advocates in Jamaica right now. And I can say that without any kind of, there's a button on the block, I can do that. Rihanna is the immediate former National PRO, Public Relations Officer for the National Secondary Students Council, which for those of you who may not know, is the largest secondary student-led body in Jamaica. Over 300,000 students. She would have been PRO not 1 year, but twice. She was PRO for 2 years. And she currently acts as a special advisor to the president of the Jamaica Union of Tertiary Students. So she's out there, she's doing her thing. She's a first year UE student doing law. So yes, she's actually quite young, but she's quite experienced. So ladies and gentlemen, please allow Rihanna your full attention at this time as you go through how is it that you can change the world with your phone. I'm going to give you the permission to be able to share, Rihanna, at this time.
Awesome. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Christina. And it's really my pleasure to be here. I hope everyone is having a great evening so far. And I hope that my presentation will be of much assistance to you in your future endeavors. All right, so I'm able to share, Tina?
Okay, I'm going to ask the person who is the host to please, I'm not really sure who is behind it, so please make you host, because I'm not allowed to make you the host. I'm not sure why.
Okay, no problem. The other device, the one that I'm not speaking from, please.
Oh, that's the other Rihanna. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so is the tech person here? Are you hearing me? To help me to make Rihanna host, please? Or one of the co-hosts?
I think they made this device that I'm speaking from.
Oh, so it's the other device. Okay, so please make the other device. Right, there you go. There you go, awesome. Rihanna. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, dokes. So let me just get right into it. Let me know if you're seeing my screen.
Yes, we are. We want to put this into slideshow.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm doing. I just don't need it to move. All right, let me go back to the beginning. All right, so today I'm here to speak about how to use your cell phone to effect change, right? So getting down into the nitty-gritty, this is really social media / digital / traditional media advocacy, right? Okay. All right. So I want to start off with two quotes. The first one being, don't use social media to impress people, but use it to impact people. And that's by Dave Willis. And the other one is, social media is not just an activity. It is an investment of valuable time and resources. And that's by Helene Packett. Okay. So this is where we're going to start. Advocacy versus social media. How did social media become such a useful tool with regards to advocacy? Right? So we have to start off from where it all began, the evolution of social media. Social media now is very different from where it started at. When social media would have been just created, such as platforms like Facebook, when those platforms came about, the goal was to ensure that persons were able to connect with family and friends from a remote space, right? And they went even further to allow persons to be able to basically scrapbook their life in a digital format. So that's what social media was really about: connection and sharing parts of your own life as a digital scrapbook, basically. Instagram in particular started out as a digital scrapbook, where your friends would have just been able to see, or those who follow you would be able to see what it is that you're up to, whether you're eating or you just want to take a picture of the sky or something of that sort, right? So I want to make sure that you're still seeing me. Awesome. Okay. So social media has evolved, especially in the last few years, where it is not only a platform for you to connect with friends or share aspects of your life anymore. It is now a platform where it is that you can share any amount of any information, any kind of information that you wish to share, which means that now it has become the perfect place for advocacy to happen, which is how it is now that we have arrived at digital advocacy. So because of this space where you can now share information and you can garner up recommendations and opinions on different things, right? So this brings us to our second point, which is awareness. Social media really fosters that environment of awareness. You can just go on social media. You don't have to go on Google anymore to find information. You can go on Twitter and type in a keyword, a search word, and you find what you're looking for, right? And you can find opinions about what you're looking for. So social media has become that platform for sharing information and to develop awareness of the community. And that brings us to our next point: inclusion and community. Now, with regards to advocacy, social media has created that platform where persons can feel included in certain decisions being made and certain topical interests. So, for example, I may not be a professional with regards to climate change, but I am passionate about climate change because I care about my planet. But I don't have any credentials with regards to climate change. Nobody now look upon me when it comes on to climate change. However, with social media, I can lend my voice based on what I know. All right. So I can go on Twitter. Someone may tweet something and start a conversation, start a thread. And I may just want to tune in and chime in on that. And I may quote them or even subtweet them if I may not agree with what they're saying, or reply to them. So social media really forms that space where you can feel included based on what it is that is being advocated for, and you can create a community. So if you are the one who is advocating for a particular thing, you don't have to be a professional to advocate on social media either. As I mentioned before, you can just be someone who is passionate about something or cares about something. And you can now, with one tweet, one post on your Facebook, one post on your Instagram, one post on TikTok even, right? With those things now, you can build a community, and those persons will now, they might do what you want them to do. Maybe you're trying to form behavioral change. They might change their behavior to suit what it is that you are advocating for. They may join in on your conversation. Those persons may even have a larger platform than yours, and they bolster what it is that you're trying to say. All right, so next up now, what is social media marketing in relation to advocacy? And this is where I want you all to jump in and chime in now. What do you think social media marketing is in relation to advocacy? Can type in the chat or raise your hand if you're allowed to speak. Nothing? I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Let's see. All right, so I guess y'all are a little bit shy right now, because I'm sure you can come up with an answer for what social media marketing is in relation to advocacy. All right, so there are several things that would fall under this. First thing is what it is that you're trying to bring forward, how it is that you're going to do it. So, for example, you want to speak up on, say, child abuse. You may find information regarding child abuse, find content that you might want to post. Maybe you want to create an infographic. You post that to social media. Your aim is to garner views, garner likes, spread your message and spread awareness, and also spread the solutions or the recommendations that you have to put forward for this problem. That in itself is social media marketing, right? The only thing that would make it different with regards to advocacy is where it is that you are pushing for some sort of change to come from what it is that you're saying, right? So you're not posting it just to post it. You're not posting it for other persons to like it alone. You're posting it so that they can see what it is that you're saying. They can interact with what you're saying. They can change their behavior. You can put policy positions forward. You can get the attention of those who you need to put forward the change that you want to see. All right. Okay. So the other step now in terms of advocacy, digital advocacy, the first thing that you want to start with is your branding plan. So the first thing is what are your interests? What are you interested in? What do you care about? What are you passionate about? The next step would be, what is your message? What are you really trying to say, right? What is it that you want to do in this space? Who is your target audience is the next step. Who is it that you're trying to reach? Who do you want to impact? Who are you trying to help or assist? Who are your stakeholders? Now, I think the paths often cross with your target audience and your stakeholders, but the truth is they're very different. Your stakeholders can be persons who not only you're impacting them as well and helping them, but it's not just as simple as that. These are persons who are interested in what it is that you're doing and can also provide assistance with what it is that you're doing, right? So your stakeholders now, these are persons who you want to network with. These are persons who may be able to bolster what it is that you're putting forward. These are persons who may bring additional persons with them to help in what it is that you're trying to do. So these are persons who are interested and also looking forward to what it is that you're putting forward. They might like what it is that you're saying, be very much interested in it, want to see the same things as you. They have the same opinions of you as you, and they have the same position as you. So stakeholders are very, very important. All right. So your brand objectives. These are the things that you need to set out for your brand. These are the things that you want to achieve, right? So the first thing, which is what we would have mentioned before, the questions that we would have put out and asked just now in terms of your branding plan, that is defining your brand. Those questions would help you to define your brand, but that's not the end of it. You also need to have a profound knowledge of what it is that you're trying to say. So this links back to your message. You can't want to talk about climate change and don't know anything about climate change. You have to research, find out what it is that you're trying to say, get all the information related to it, who you need to talk to, who you can try and get involved, who can make it better. That's the type of thing, that's the type of mindset that you need to have. So you need to know about what it is that you're trying to advocate for. You must know all the information. You must be well read, must have a profound knowledge of it. So not just sick of it based at face value, you need to know about it. All right, next step, make your presence and your stance known. So this is very important. If I get up today and say that I am passionate about X, and I tweet about X one day, and then I just don't bother anymore, that's not how it works. You have to continually go for what it is that you need. You have to make yourself known in that space, or persons will not gravitate towards you. Persons will not listen to what you have to say, and they will not add you to whatever it is that what they're doing. All right. So for example, if you want to get the attention of Deion Jackson Miller, say you want to go on Beyond the Headlines to speak about something, You have to make your presence known in that space to know that this is someone who is worthwhile having on my program to speak about this thing. And that goes back to knowing what it is that you're talking about and how it is that you can interact with your audience so that they are also interested in what it is that you're talking about. Because remember, you can't go in expecting to only pull the attention of those who already care about it. You have to go in expecting to pull more persons in on what it is, get more buy-in from your persons who your target audience, who you're trying to get involved in what it is that you're doing, right? So you have to establish that position. You have to establish your voice. You have to make your stance known and defend your stance to the end. You must know what your end goal is to make your voice heard and set that precedence, right? So the next step now would be networking with your stakeholders, which we would have touched on earlier. You have to network. It's very important with regards to advocacy because you may not know everyone. You may not know who it is at the get-go that you need to speak with, but you can research and find out who it is that is interested. Pay attention to persons of influence in society and see what conversations they're starting and what conversations they're participating in. Maybe they did an interview. Maybe the interview was not about mental health, but they spoke about some mental health challenges that they may be going through and what it is that they did to help. Maybe that's someone who you want to speak with about your plans with regards to mental health, right? So you have to ensure that you network. You have to build a relationship with persons who are interested in what it is that you're talking about. And if persons, as I said, they might not have the same goal as you, end goal to say, okay, I want to start this campaign with regards to mental health, since it's such a taboo topic. They might not see that vision. But because they already had that foundation of experiencing a mental health issue, you can show them that vision and they may come on your team and help you to push that. And that person may have thousands of followers that may now be involved in what it is that you're saying. So networking is extremely important, right? Next step now is top-notch content. What other marketing persons in society have also said is thumb-stopping content. And I love that term because when you're scrolling through Instagram, you're just scrolling. And you're not going to stop until you see something that catches your eye. So you, as an advocate in the digital space, you need to create content that is thumb-stopping. So persons will now say, this is something that I want to look at. People have short attention spans, and that's just the truth as well. So if you're putting out content, it has to be interesting. And you have to ensure that the persons interacting with it will like it and will continue to interact with it and not just click on and click off, right? You have to also ensure that your content is consistent, it is clear and easy to digest and easy to understand, and it is also constant, right? So consistency means with the fact that you're ensuring that you're staying on target. So if you're talking about climate change, you're consistently talking about climate change. Don't get your brand too confused doing too many different things all at once, right? And constancy would come in where you're continually doing it. So you're not just do it one day and then stop tomorrow and then probably take a next week off and then come back again. No, you have to be, the 3 C's are important. Consistent with what your message is, constantly sharing your message, and having your message be clear and concise so that the common man knows exactly what it is that you're putting forward. All right, so Jamaica's digital landscape, and I'm just gonna put it out there. The slides coming next under this specific heading. These are statistics and slides were prepared by Kurt Nelson. He is the lead digital marketing strategist at TMC Mindshare here in Jamaica. All right, so context and algorithm. This is extremely important. So across the platforms that we've mentioned so far, we spoke about Facebook, we spoke about Instagram, we spoke about Twitter, and we spoke about TikTok. But those aren't all. You have Snapchat, you have a LinkedIn, and you have Pinterest. And these are the leading platforms so far because clearly other platforms exist. I know you're probably thinking, what about YouTube? The truth is YouTube is not a social media. YouTube is a search engine, and persons get it confused all the time. But YouTube is a search engine similar to Google. It just uses videos instead of other types of content, right? And you might be thinking, what about WhatsApp? WhatsApp is not a social media either. WhatsApp is a messaging tool that is also used. Sometimes it is used as a social media, but that's really not its purpose. So we're sticking with these as social media platforms. All right, so getting into it now. With regards to Facebook, Facebook loves video content. So the algorithm will push the video content more than other content. And it also likes third-party content. So third-party content is really now content that would have been created by other persons, other, say, companies, organizations that you as a layman would be putting forward. Facebook pushes that type of content in its algorithm. Instagram. So Instagram doesn't really have many favorites when it comes down to what it is that it's publishing. It can be anyone at any time, as long as you're not shadow banned by Instagram, your content will be put out there. And then, you can bolster your content by promotion, etc. Twitter. So Twitter bridges communication barriers. So that's really what Twitter does. So as a layman in Twitter, you can go and participate in a conversation that was already going on. A lot of persons were already interacting with that thread or that tweet. And you might just say something that either triggers everyone, is funny, or interesting. And you as that person, you may not have many followers, you may not have a lot of persons interacting with your page, but that single tweet can blow up, right? And furthermore, as I mentioned, when you can join conversations that already happened, that now bridges the communication barriers, because you as a regular person can join in on conversations, you can share your opinions, you can trace off people, which happens a lot on Twitter, join a debate, anything of that nature on Twitter. But tread lightly on Twitter. It's not for the weak. Okay. Aspirational. All right. So Pinterest. Pinterest is an aspirational and step-by-step guide type of platform. So when I say aspirational, I mean Pinterest can make you see what it is that you want to have in the future. So for example, if I want to have a pretty kitchen, the first place I'm going is Pinterest, because Pinterest has several ideas out there of what I can do with regards to interior design in my home, right? And then Pinterest can also show you step-by-step guides. If I want to make a birthday gift for my best friend, I can go on Pinterest and it can show me that. Yes, I see someone saying digital vision board. Yes, Pinterest is amazing with that. Pinterest can show you how it is to make your vision board step by step. And you don't even need to go and consult with any person like probably a Nicole McLaren Campbell or anyone like that who you'd have to pay to give you that kind of advice. Pinterest really just offers that for free. All right. So moving on to LinkedIn. So LinkedIn now really favors the voice of the professionals. So LinkedIn is a professional space. This is where the high class people in society, the professionals, the persons who are very high up in the system, and even you as someone starting out, you can go on that platform to source a form of income. You can go on it to get better self-actualization. There's several courses available on LinkedIn for you to go and better yourself with. You can also find other persons who you need to network with on LinkedIn. I remember when I just started out as an advocate, I was just starting out in 2018. In NSSC, I was a co-opted member. I wasn't even a full part of the executive at the time. But I went to every single event that I needed to go to. And there were several persons at this event, persons who are very professional, etc. And I couldn't get to talk to all of them because obviously they're going to see those persons who they already know and talk to them. So you know what I did? I wrote down every single name. I went home and I went on LinkedIn and I found all of those persons and contacted them there. So LinkedIn is a very, very important space when it is that you're trying to get a certain caliber of person with regards to whatever you're advocating for. Right? And then you have TikTok. So TikTok's algorithm is very, very individual. It's to the person, right? You determine your own trend on TikTok. So whatever it is that you care about, whatever videos you're interacting with the most, the type of videos, the person who's posting them, TikTok really takes note of that. And they would show you on your For You page what it is that you are interested in based on what their algorithm has provided. All right, then Snapchat. Snapchat is dubbed the millennial channel. So persons would go on Snapchat just to share what it is that's going on. You can use Snapchat for advocacy, but you have to be careful. Many persons on Snapchat really just use it to share what's happening in their day-to-day life. Now it is that Snapchat does do advertising, etc. You can subscribe to persons based on a particular topic. So it can be a very, very useful tool with regards to advocacy. All right. So more on the digital landscape in Jamaica. So these are some statistics with regards to mobile, internet, and social media use. So our total population is about 2.95 million. Yes, and then our mobile subscriptions are more than that. So I'm sure you find that very interesting because one person may have several devices. That one person may have a laptop, phone, everything. But this is specifically mobile. So that one person may have all 3-4 phones. Meanwhile, not every single person in Jamaica has a phone, but you can see where that is so much more than the population simply because one person has so many different mobile subscriptions. Then you have internet users. So this is steadily increasing even now with the pandemic, where we're now at 1.63 million. And these statistics are from 2020. Active media, social media users, 1.3 million. So you can see it's not so far off from the internet users. And the internet penetration, 55%. And that is a lot compared to where we're coming from, right? So we still have a far way to go because other countries may have way more than that amount, but that is a lot compared to where we're coming from. All right. So number of mobile connections, so that's 3.28 million. You can see that's a lot more than our population as well. Percentage of population, 111%. So you see what I'm saying now, where one person has several devices. I'm sure some of you in here also have several phones as well. Percentage of prepaid, 93%. Postpaid 6.7%, and the percentage of broadband internet 66%. So this data is really just showing you the broad scope that digital advocacy, the persons that it can really impact, and the persons you can access, because these are the amount of persons who are on these platforms daily. All right. So this is a little thing that Tina was talking about earlier, the difference in users for Android and Apple. I mean, how much of a difference does it really make? We all have internet, we all use the internet, but it is important to note because some platforms are only accessible to Apple users versus Android. Persons for Android may use Hangout more than Apple because we don't really have a Hangout like that type of thing. So these things can also assist you in your advocacy. All right, so with regards to mobile, internet, and social media usage. So this is the share of the internet usage. So laptops, most persons, the percentage, is 40.7%. Smartphones, 54.6%. Tablets, 4.6%. And other devices, about 0.1%, right? Okay, so changes in social media usages. Right, so we're seeing where our total active social media users is at 1.3 million. Social media users compared to the population is at 44%. So that's almost half of the population. And then changing social media users, and this is since the pandemic, so that is an increase in 8.8% or 160,000 social media users now. Percentage of active social media users accessing via mobile, and that's 99%. So you see the wide range of persons you can access with digital advocacy. All right, so we're getting into Facebook. So we're going on a platform by platform basis now. We're gonna focus on the FIT platforms. Okay, so Facebook. So the number of persons that can be reached would be 940,000 people. And that's worldwide, worldwide, and that's awesome. No, that's not worldwide. I believe that's Jamaica. Yes, that's Jamaica. All right, so reach compared to population, that's 40%. So that is also very high. Quarterly change, an increase of 2.2%. Percentage of female, 54.3%, and percentage of male is 45.7%. So you can see that there's a larger female audience, and all of these statistics can help you with your advocacy so that you can now analyze these and focus on what type of content and who is interacting with it and how you're going to tailor your content to ensure that the persons on these platforms are interacting with it in the way that you want them to. So take note of these statistics because they will really come in handy. All right, so Instagram. So the number of persons that can be reached in Jamaica is 660,000. And then the reach compared to the population is 28%. So you can see from that Facebook actually has a really large reach compared to the other social medias. So persons might think Facebook is fading or, nobody gonna use that again. That is not true. That is not true. It all depends on who your target audience is. And even if they're not your target audience that is over on Facebook, they may be persons who you want to network with. Your stakeholders might just be over on Facebook. So do not count Facebook out. All right. Our quarterly change, that is an increase of 10% per quarter. Percentage of female, that's 53%, and percentage of male is 47%. All right, so Twitter. So the number of persons that can be reached would be 208.5 thousand. So the reach compared to the population is 8.9%. And I say that to say this. A lot of persons might see a position on Twitter, or you might see that a lot of persons, based on who you're seeing on your timeline, might have a certain opinion. Sorry about the bikes. That is not the final when it comes down to any country. You can have your difference in opinion the same. That whatever their opinions are is not the end all when it comes to that topic. Twitter only has an 8.9% of our population. So not because something is over on Twitter and you see people are saying this and saying that, that does not mean that that is the end all for that decision. That is only a very small demographic. So we have to remember that with regards to our advocacy, because you might think, yes, everybody's on my side. But the truth is, not everyone is on your side. You have to keep going with what it is that you're doing. Or you might think everyone is against you, and the truth is they're not all against you. It's just persons on Twitter. And remember, Twitter has a certain type of person. Twitter enables communication, which is what we spoke about earlier. So persons might feel a little bit more empowered to share their opinions on Twitter. So don't let that daunt you. All right, so quarterly change, you see a positive 34%. Twitter is definitely steadily climbing. A percentage of Twitter for female is 41.2%, and males is 58.8%. So males have a higher percentage on Twitter. All right, so digital advocacy best practices. So the first thing is to create a strategy, right? Know what it is that you're setting out to do and how it is that you're going to do it. If you would like to see an example of a strategy, you can DM me. I can put my information in the chat and I can share with you an example of a content strategy. Really what it is, it's like a part of it is a calendar-like outline where you just put down in there what it is that you're going to post, when you're going to post, what type of content is going to be, whether it's going to be a video, an infographic, that type of thing. You can also put in some important dates that you want to meet, some important goals that you want to meet in your content strategy as well. All right, so align a strategy to relevant platform. You see, all of those statistics that I mentioned just now, they're very important because you cannot interact with the same social media, with your content, with the different social media in the same way. You have to tailor your content to fit your algorithm and to fit the space, the platform that you're working with, and the users on that platform as well. So all those things that I just mentioned, they're in the presentation for a reason. Please utilize the information. You cannot post the same type of information and the same type of content across each social media platform. It will not work out in your favor for all platforms. You have to tailor your content to fit the persons on that platform and to fit how that platform is going to use your information. Pay attention to your analytics. This works hand in hand with the two things mentioned prior. Your analytics will give you an outline of what it is that has been happening, how many persons are interacting with your page, what they're doing with your content, etc. Utilize your analytics. They're very important and they can help you to make future decisions on your advocacy plans. All right, so advertising and promotion. I know some of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm broke. Like, what is she saying? Okay. So first of all, advertising and promotion it's not always something that you have to pay for, right? Advertising and promotion goes all the way back to networking as well. Reach out to persons who can help you. If you're tweeting something about a particular stance that you have, tag everybody under the sun that you think will be interested and will bolster your voice around the cause. So for example, NSSC a few years ago, we were advocating with regards to CXC and the exams in 2020 after the pandemic for the student voice to be included more in the decision-making process, right? And a statement was made by a government official at the time stating that, the person was asked, why is it that NSSC was not included? And that person said, the who? Like, who is NSSC? So what we decided to do was to go on Twitter and create a hashtag saying that hashtag was basically outlining, we've been here from so and so time. So I believe it was hashtag the who and hashtag NSSC from the time when NSSC was established in Parliament, which was way before that government official was established. So that was, I believe, 1975. I believe, if I'm not wrong. Don't kill me, NSSC people. All right, so advertising and promotion, tagging all of those persons who would be interested in your content, who can help you to push your content. That is a part of advertising. That is a part of promotion. You need to create content that is appealing as well. Don't be boring with your content and don't hold back. Get your creative juices flowing and go and advertise and promote your content. And if it is that you can afford it, I would suggest promotions as well if you can afford it, but it's not a need. Engagement and feedback. This is very, very, very important. You must engage with your audience and your stakeholders and listen to what it is that they're saying, because they're the ones who you're working for basically when you're advocating. They're your constituents. They're the ones who are going to help you get where you need to get with this goal, and they're the ones who you're impacting. So you need to listen to them, and their feedback must be what is guiding your decision moving forward. All right, so this brings us to our last slide, which is on traditional media. All right, so number one, speak out or reach out, and this is very important. So moving from that social media space, remember we spoke about setting your precedence and making yourself known to be someone speaking about this particular topic. From that, persons may see you. They might want you on their program. Remember we mentioned DJ Miller earlier. She might see you and want you on her program. All right, so that is a part of speaking out, because now she's seeing and she's like, yeah, man, this person, I want their opinion to be shared on all angles or on beyond the headlines. Or you can reach out to them. I've done this on several occasions about several issues. I'm not going to sit and wait for them to know what is on my mind or what is in my head or what NSSC is doing. I am going to send it to them so I can draft up a press release, but this is for an organization. So, we might have a little bit more clout in terms of them listening to us. So when we send a press release, it's listened to. However, you have platforms like Twitter, tweet and tag them and say, this is what is going on. They may not even know about the problem, right? So tag them, let them know that you're someone who they can speak with about this. And a producer may call you, talk to them, and they might say, yeah, man, we want this person on because they can bring a fresh perspective on the issue. So it's either you're going to speak out if you want traditional media, you want to be in traditional media speaking about your issue, or you're going to reach out to them. Step 2, bring your facts. Do not go on the People Them TV and radio with your opinions or your emotions. Bring your facts, have your responses, and your analysis of the issue. Responses would go back to listening to your audience, your constituents. Listen to them, what they are saying, because that is what is supposed to be guiding you. And the analysis of what it is that you're saying, right? An analysis of the issue itself on hand. All right, next thing, support your claims. Make sure, say you have supporting information. Probably you want to get some feedback from persons to say, make a voice note for me and, give me permission to share this or whatever. Support your claims. Make sure you're well read on what it is that you're talking about, because they can ask you any kinds of questions, right? And this is for TV, radio, newspaper, anything. They can ask you all kinds of questions. So you need to be well read. Next thing, get to the point. Get to the point. We don't need to know, go around all the world and go around con and come back. We don't need all of that. Get to the point. Get straight to your point. Say what you need to say. Make your stance clear and easy to understand. Remember, you're not only talking to the host of the show or the journalist, you're also talking to the wider population who you also want to get on board with your ideas. So they must be able to understand what you're saying as well. And be you. Be yourself. In the midst of all of this, both on social media and traditional media, do not lose who you are. Be yourself and be well read, as I mentioned before. All right, so that's the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, let me know. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I was engaging.
Wow, I mean, very comprehensive presentation, Rena. Thank you so much. I see persons in the chat and persons using the thumbs up sign. Definitely agree as well. The floor is now open for questions. Any questions that you may have at this time for Rihanna about how you can utilize traditional or new age media for good.
Thank you. I see the person saying awesome presentation. Thank you so much.
Larry.
Any questions? Oh, let me put my information in the chat for everyone so that I can share the outline to the calendar. All right, one moment. All right, so I put my Instagram and my email in the chat, and you can feel free to reach out to me.
All right, so any questions? I'm just going to leave that open just for another minute. And if not, we're going to move on.
Alrighty, and I can also share the presentation if you'd like, Christina.
All right, that sounds good. That's great.
You can share because I think I sent it to you, so you can feel free to share that.
I just sent you something, Rena. Let me just see if I can grab it really quick from you. It's weird. I'm not seeing your message. All right, so I'm putting in the chat the link to the WhatsApp group, and this WhatsApp group is for persons who are supposed to be placed this semester. Repeating, I'm putting in the link to the WhatsApp group for persons who are supposed to be placed this semester. As well as we have the link in the chat for the evaluation. So please fill out the evaluation, because as I would have explained to you, for those of you who have been here before, that if you don't evaluate, you won't be registered as fully attending the workshop. So this is how you had to register to attend, and you get the link and everything. You also need to ensure that you evaluate the workshop to also be fully ticked off as having attended and participated. So remember to evaluate. It's in the link. The link is in the chat right now. I'm going to ask for the tech team, because we also are streaming live on YouTube. If you could also add the evaluation link on YouTube as well, that would be great. I think we now put in the description, so that would be good for the persons over on YouTube. And if you're watching me right now on YouTube, you're definitely supposed to also fill out the evaluation form, and the link is in the chat for persons who are supposed to be placed. I will be sending this out via email as well, but if you're already here, please, it wasn't streaming earlier. All right, we'll have to look at that. Thanks for highlighting that. All right, so we're ending soon. Just give another 5 minutes. I'm a person, I like to keep within the time frame of an hour. It's great though, because we started 20 minutes late and we're still not that much over the time. So let's move right through. So this is the final workshop for this semester. We will resume workshops next semester. This is the final workshop for this semester. We're resuming next semester. We will have 2 workshops next semester. Why? Because we have 5 workshops in total. We would have had the first workshop about why should you become a leader, or I think we talked about why you chose to lead, or chose to change rather, why you chose to change, which is really to become a change maker. And we had the second session that was about hacking change making, how you could go about deciding on your cause, choosing your organization, and the works around that. And then today we talked about how you can change the world with your phone by doing your social media and traditional media campaigns, speaking on interviews, etc. So thus far, you have been prepared in that you have been prepared to decide on your cause, find a group to volunteer, as well as if you want to get involved, how could you create your own campaign? So you are partially ready to take on the world in terms of a change agent. And so we want to give you guys the opportunity to now be placed. For those of you who haven't been placed as yet, 1 or 2, you're not a part of the WJC group, because they have also been placed already. WJC meaning persons in the West and persons who are self-placed. So those 3 categories had already been placed already. And so this category now is open for those who are yet to be placed for this semester. Now, I just want to note that where most of you will be placed, is the Jamaica Union of Tertiary Students. And the reason why most of you will be placed there is because for those of you who probably watch social media, you would note that this month is celebrated as Youth Month nationally. It's a National Youth Month, and JUTS is helping to host as well as partner on a number of different projects for the month of November. So we do need the group, they need assistance. And it's good for you because you're going to be working on projects that have national relevance. They'll be attended nationally. There are events there to do with the Minister of Education, both state and the minister and other ministers. And you will also be getting, just as our JUTS members would get access to certain things, like for example, like the PMYA awards and stuff like that, members who are volunteers during the month of November will also have access to these events and opportunities once it is that you do your work. Right, so it's a grand opportunity for you guys, and it's kind of a crash course into a youth org. It's led by youth, for nationally for tertiary students, and you'll be planning events for young people and students in Jamaica. There are a number of events that have already been planned so far, and it's all for execution. I know they're working on a national think tank where they're going to be having a day where young people are going to come from all over Jamaica virtually and to hack different issues. Right, that's going to be great. I think they're calling the event the War Room because they're trying to put together some unconventional and uncensored ideas and how they can change some issues in Jamaica. That's one event I know they're having. They're also having an event that is being partnered with CNN, yes, as in CNN, the international news platform. And they're also having an event with Digital Jamaica. You may have seen that going around, which is a Future Work Summit happening on the 18th. There's a lot of different exciting things happening that they're doing, and they want volunteers on deck. So for persons who are going to be placed now, most likely you'll be placed with JUTS. Just want you to be made aware of that. If for whatever reason you don't want to be placed with JUTS, then we may have to put you to next semester. And that's okay, because we all have our preferences. But for those who will be placed and want to be placed, you should know that you'll be mostly working with JUTS for the National Youth Month activities. So if you guys have any questions, just reach out to me in the group. And I remember I sent the link in the chat. Just add this up to the group. It's right there. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all. For the persons who are going to be joining the group, we're putting you to work right away because the work for JUTS has already started and Youth Month has started. Today is the second day of November. The entire month of November is Youth Month. Lauralee, I see you have a question. Go ahead.
Hi, good night. So I see that you recently added me to the group, right? You had asked if I wanted to be placed this semester or wanted or selected to be placed this semester. Initially, I selected either semester. and working with them sounds brilliant. But seeing how my semester, like my finals are set up, I would prefer if I could be placed next semester. So
that's understandable, right? So what you can do, I won't remove it from the group. What you could do, you could choose to leave, or you could just mute the group, and then when it's time, because we're gonna use the same group next semester, we're just gonna change the people out. So you can either one, mute the group, or two, leave. Up to you, Lauralee. I didn't read all the message that you sent. I did see though that you sent me. I didn't read all of it though, because I was trying to, create the group and send the chat in. But that's no issue, and I appreciate that. It's good to be very self-aware and to admit when you can't take on something. So no problem with that. All right.
All right, thanks for that.
All right, so I think that's it for us. 8:11, we have made good time even though we started late. Thank you everyone for joining us for our third workshop. Remember, we resume workshops next semester, and for those persons who are still to be placed, please join the chat that I sent in join the group I sent in the chat so that we can get you placed and get you working. For those of you who may be worried about the placement, don't worry too much, because remember that most of you are doing between 20 to 60 hours. And so that is just a loss of time. That's like 2 weeks, if so much. 20 hours is 1 week, 60 hours is 2 weeks, or a week and a half. So you're not doing that much work where you feel like, oh, I'm going to have to be doing all of this work in the middle of exams. It's not like that. But at the same time, if you still feel burdened for whatever reason, just like Lauralee, you can make the choice to come next semester. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening and all the best on your exam. This will be my last time speaking to you for this semester. So let me wish you everything. I'm wishing you great exams, great exam period. I'm wishing you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm the first one to tell you. All right. Take care, guys.
Take care and thank you.
No problem, Machine. Bye.
Bye.